Welcome to West Sussex. We're at Patching Pond and it's winter. A point highlighted by the fact, high pressure, the sun's out and it's cold. I've orientated my bivvy so that it's protecting me from a particularly brutal northeasterly wind. However, if we get our side of the equation right, location, bait application and putting our hook bait in exactly the right place, very often, even at this time of year, you'll end up with a carp in the bottom of your landing net. Which is exactly what's just happened to me. In a world that's dominated by the capture of big carp, winter's a time where you can put all that on the back burner and concentrate on just getting a bite. There's nothing better to warm you up on a cold winter's day than the sound of your bite alarm ripping off. Patching's got a good stock of carp in it and is a lake where I can concentrate on working on some competitive feeding, and the more these fish are competing for their food, the more likely I am to catch one. And if a fish like this don't make you smile, then you're doing it wrong. What an absolute belter. Swim off home. There she goes. Winter's begun, northeasterly winds, absolutely freezing cold. As we said before, there's carp to be caught, and winter fishing, I think you need to be catching carp, or give yourself the best opportunity to be catching carp. So venue selection is very important. I spend a great deal of the warmer months chasing big carp around, and in the winter I want to get a few bites and warm up a very cold day. So finding a venue that has got a fair few fish in it, where I can create that challenging environment for the food, and the more they're competing for food, the more I'm going to catch one. A shallow venue. This venue itself has probably got an average depth of 4 foot. Shallow water will be affected more by climatic conditions than deeper water. Once a deep lake gets cold, it invariably stays cold until the sun comes out in the spring. Shallower lakes, if the sun comes out during the day, it warms the water up and carp are quick to take advantage of that. It needs to be close to home for a venue that you want to stay on during the course of the winter. One, you can keep in touch with the venue, and two, you can keep regular bait going into it. Now, we're not talking mountains of bait, we're not talking an amount of bait that's going to break the bank and end up in the divorce courts. Just 40, 50 baits on a regular spot, every now and again, 2-3 times a week is enough to make the carp aware that it's there and keep coming back for more. To today, why am I in the swim I'm in? Well, I've mentioned that the lake itself is relatively shallow, and what happens is the carp can become very, very obvious. To the left of the swim is a set of pads. Now, pads will hold carp at any time of year. They meet a hell of a lot of the carp's instinctive needs: safety, comfort, and probably one of the most important ones, food. So a bait fish near to them is very likely to be picked up. So one of my rods is over there. I didn't see any fish in that area when I arrived, but it is a good area to target and hopefully to catch a fish. Where I did see fish, and it made me smile, was out in the open water, because it's away from the pads, it's away from any danger. The fight, if I hook the carp, isn't so fraught as you're trying to get it away from the dangers, and you can sit back and actually enjoy the experience. I have put a fair bit of bait in, but I didn't do it all in one hit. I didn't just turn up and put 3 or 4 key of boilies out there in the hope that something would come along. I've slowly introduced the bait over the course of the last 36 hours, and that is the way to keep it going. If I've gone away and stalked, as I have, and I'll come back to that in a second, I've put a little spread of bait over the 3 spots just in case something comes along and it keeps the carp's interest in that particular area. Stalking. Go stalking in the winter. Carp will be caught in the edge. Remember, that's the shallow water, and if the sun's out, that's going to warm up the quickest, and you can see them. And also on your travels around the lake as you're stalking, you're learning more about the venue. You're seeing what the carp are doing, and you can actually gauge your angling around that, which is actually the right way to do it. Again, when I got here, I'm looking. I've probably walked this lake 10, 12 times before I actually decided on a spot that I was going to fish. A lot of people think they're not actually fishing unless they've got a hook bait in the water. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, I've got my rods in now, and I've just put a little bit of bait in just to keep any carp that are passing occupied and aware there's some bait in the area. I don't think there's a chance of a bite now, and probably until tomorrow morning, so I'm going to go out and be a bit more proactive than that. With the sun out now, it's probably 14, 15 degrees. It's a hell of a turnaround from the nighttime temperatures, and the first thing that's going to take advantage of that are the carp, and they'll move into the warmer, shallower water. I'm just going to take a couple of rods around the lake now and see if I can find them. While they're there in the shallows and I can get a bait to them, there's a really good chance I can get a bite. It's quite sheltered on the far bank, and that's where we're going to go and have a look. A little while ago I had a little sneaky inspection of the area, and there are a couple of ornamental fish in here, and I spotted one of them. The rest of the carp of the lake probably hate him because he's so easily to spot. While you found him, you've probably found a few of the others too.